Thank you. As I commence my final speech in this place, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that the Parliament of New South Wales sits on, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and also acknowledge the people of the lands I've represented for the past 12 years, the Cabral people of the Darug Nation. Madam Speaker, it is an honour to have you preside over my valedictory speech. You have been a close colleague of mine since entering this place, and you have shown me what it is like to be an effective Member of Parliament, both inside and outside of the chamber, and I thank you for your friendship. I would also like to acknowledge Speaker Jonathan O'Dea and former Speaker Shelley Hancock. Well, the third quarter siren has sounded on my time in this place. When I delivered the inaugural speech, my hair was brown and I read the speech without glasses. Oh, times, how they have changed. I've had the honour and the privilege to represent Fairfield at the 2011, 2015 and 2019 elections. And let me tell you, that was a baptism of fire into this place that I will never ever forget. Only the bravest of the brave put up their hand to contest the 2011 election, and I was one of them. I'm proud to say that I held on to the seat of Fairfield in 2011, even though the seat went from a 20% margin down to 1.7. I am grateful to the local Fairfield Labor branch members for their support and belief in me to carry the flag post-2011. And I could not have done the job without the efforts of my first campaign director, Adrian Boothman, and his mother, Maria Boothman, and the loyal volunteers. Since the 2011 election, Fairfield branch members have worked alongside me to progressively increase the margin to almost 18% in 2019. I cannot thank them enough for their commitment to early morning train station visits, street stalls, mobile offices and festival stalls. I'd like to thank the following local Labor Party branch officials for their assistance over the years. In Cabramatta, Trevo and Andrew Newen. In Fairfield, Gavin Abrahams, Johnson Hellaney and Peter Pavicic. In Guildford West, David Van Brussel and Rex Sorby. And in the Smithfield branch, George Barcher and Tony Campolongo. Prior to entering this place, I spent 16 years in Catholic education in Western Sydney. Madam Speaker, education is in my DNA. The inspiration to become a teacher came from my maternal grandparents, Pietro Ilacqua and Anna Lussurdo, and my parents, Rosario Zangari and Domenica Ilacqua. They taught me the value of hard work and the importance of education. My roots are typically working class. I'm proud to say that I'm the descendant of an Aeolian Sicilian migrant fishing family. I'm also the descendant of Anna Fazio, my great-grandmother, who was born into a poor fishing family in the Aeolian island of Lipari. I think it's safe to say that during the mid-1800s, both Anna and her brother Vincenzo Fazio could never have imagined that their great-grandchildren would become members of this parliament in a faraway land. Vincenzo's great-granddaughter, Amanda Fazio, would become the president of the other place. My family saw the opportunities that education created in this country, opportunities they wanted for their children. I seized these opportunities whilst retaining my family's traditions of manual labour, and I became an industrial arts TAS vet construction teacher with religion. You could say I got the best of both worlds. From a young age, I wanted to be a teacher and I wanted to help others. I lived and worked through the struggle and the tough nature of the fishing industry with my family, and it made me even more determined to steer my future towards education. Education has always been a passion of mine since childhood. It's always been a part of my life. So much so, Madam Speaker, that I married a maths teacher, Melissa Pellegrino. She's sitting right up there. As a Member of Parliament, I made it a priority to regularly visit schools and acknowledge the efforts of teachers and students through leadership awards, academic awards, teacher service awards, and I'd like to thank all the school principals, the teachers, the support staff, students and parents for opening the door and making me feel welcome. The welfare of students and teachers has always been a priority for me, both during my time as a teacher and a Member of Parliament. In my final years of teaching, I was honoured to have led the professional development of teachers and students in the leadership sphere. Madam Speaker, leadership is not just a name tag, nor is it a title or a badge. Leaders are meant to coach, mentor, and guide people directly under their care. True leaders are humble and do not abuse others using treacherous behaviour to achieve power. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank former Labor leaders, John Robertson, Luke Foley and Michael Daly, for their belief in me to take charge of shadow portfolios from 2012 to 2019. I was honoured to be the Shadow Minister in the portfolios including corrections, emergency services, justice and police, sport and recreation, trade, tourism and major events, veterans affairs and citizenship and communities. I could not have done my job as a Shadow Minister without the assistance from stakeholder unions and associations, and I would like to especially thank the Police Association of New South Wales, the Fire Brigade Employees Union, the Rural Fire Service Association and the Prison Officers Vocation Branch for their friendship and assistance. I would also like to personally thank Mick Pisano, David Gollidge and Justin Lee for their advice and good counsel. I would also like to thank the many multicultural groups for their assistance. What is common to all shadow portfolio stakeholders is their passion and commitment that they have for their respective communities and always fighting for a better deal for the ones they represent. And I thank them sincerely. Being a Member of Parliament in opposition is tough. There is a perception in the community that you can't achieve results for your community as you're not in government. I never subscribe to this motion, Speaker. Over the past 3 terms, results have been achieved through collaboration and collegiality with community and stakeholders. Locally, we were able to achieve the restoration of the Lansdowne Bridge, secure the upgrade of the iconic Meccano set with new metal structures, keep the Fairfield interchange project on the agenda after the New South Wales Government scrapped the project following the 2011 election, and eventually we witnessed its construction. We secured the installation of lifts at Canleyvale Railway Station after a vigorous campaign. We also ensured plans are underway for the widening of the Horsley Drive at Paulding Street and Nelson Street, and now we're overseeing the initial planning phase for the installation of lifts at Villawood Railway Station after a protracted campaign by the community. As the Shadow Minister, I was proud to fight for and make changes in the following areas: presumptive legislation for firefighters alongside the FBEU and the Rural Fire Service Association, to which the New South Wales Government introduced legislation post-Labor's introduction of the bill. I fought against the revocation of Section 18C of the Racial Discrimination Act, and I put the New South Wales Government on notice to oppose any changes to that Act. I fought for and secured an increase of multicultural liaison officers in the Fairfield City Police Area Command from 1 to 5 officers. And I advocated for the funding of Grace's Place and called on the government to match Labor's commitment. The project has now become a reality and will open in 2023 to support families that are victims of homicide. Through the Community Building Partnerships program, I was honoured to have worked with not-for-profit organisations, charities and schools to secure vital funding to deliver important local programs. I'd like to especially thank the people at Western Sydney MRC, STARTS, Core Community Services, New South Wales SLASA, Woodville Alliance, Community Action Services Australia, the Australian Chinese Buddhist Society, Parks Community Services, Community First Step, Karatani, Sunnyfield and Afford, as well as many other community groups for their support and friendship. When I was elected in 2011, the world could never have imagined the COVID-19 pandemic, a global challenge which is still impacting our community today. There was certainly no handbook given to MPs on how to assist the community under such circumstances. The Fairfield electorate was one of the communities to have been impacted by the lockdowns. Much has been said and debated about what should have been done and what could have been done. But I'm not here to debate that tonight, other than to say that my community that I represented felt the full brunt of unnecessary finger-pointing and vilification. As the local MP representing a community impacted by the harshest lockdowns in our state, I can honestly say that I had no choice but to stand up to the government when they unfairly targeted Fairfield and demanded surveillance testing. This sudden expectation was not met with the required resources for testing. Despite the difficulties during lockdown, I was proud to introduce the Fairfield Electorate Care Package program with the generous assistance from Good 360 and partner donor organisations, Safit Adnor, Our Pure Planet, Rapid Relief Team Australia, NAFCO Australia and Food Angel. I'd like to thank, sincerely, Alison Covington, Susan Wallace and the team at Good 360 for packing over 200,000 products of hygiene care products for our hampers. The program would not have been successful without the distribution and assistance from the Fairfield Salvation Army, Helping Hands New South Wales Sydney, Fairfield Police, St Macarius Charity, Villawood Senior Citizens, Community Action Services Australia, the Chaldean League of New South Wales and Shana Humanitarian Services. I have participated in many notable debates over the past 3 terms in this House. There are 2 debates that stand out: the reproductive health care reform and the voluntary assisted dying debates. They are not highlights for me by any stretch of the imagination. I've always stood firm in my conscience to fight for life, and I will always fight for life, not against it. These values were strongly voiced by my community, and I'd like to thank the following religious leaders for their support and guidance, not just throughout the conscience debates, but over the years. The Sydney Catholic Archbishop Anthony Fisher, auxiliary bishops Terry Brady and Richard Umbers, the Chaldean Archbishop Amel Nonna, the Metropolitan of the Assyrian Church of the East, His Beatitude Mar Melis Zaire, His Grace Mar Mari Emmanuel, Father James McCarthy, Monsignor Paul Mingana, Father Rodi Situ, Father Michael de Stoop and Father Dominic Din. I'd also like to thank the Grand Mufti of Australia, Dr Ibrahim Abu Muhammad, and His Eminence Sheikh Azam Mesto from the Rama Mosque, and the Most Venerables from the Minulay Temple and the Fukway Temple. There has been much talk about seats in southwestern Sydney following the New South Wales electoral redistribution and the abolition of the seat of Lakemba. I want to place on the record, Speaker, that I was not afforded the professional courtesy of any formal discussion or consultation prior to September this year regarding my future by the party or the leader. I was isolated, I was ignored, I was ostracised from any conversations regarding the seat that I'd represented since 2011. I came to the final decision of leaving this place as a result of this lack of inclusion. After more than 1,300 speeches, 1,000 questions on notice, thousands of hours engaging with the community and advancing the Labor cause, I would have thought that my dedication to my community would have been at the forefront of discussions and any decisions about the future of the seat of Fairfield. Instead, I spent 2 years in a state of anxiousness. I found myself in a dark mental place as a result of the lack of professional courtesy when the future of the seat I held for Labor for 3 elections was being discussed without me. This is when I knew it was time to leave. The mental toll is too great, and I cannot continue in this place. This has made me a passionate advocate for mental health, suicide prevention, awareness and support. One of my favourite novels as a child was To Kill a Mockingbird. And as so, Atticus Finch says in this quote, open quote, "You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it," end quote. I'd like to thank the co-founders of the Australian Man Cave Support Group, Pastors Lou Greco and Pastors Agostino Gadolari, for their support during this time. Although I had never spoken a word about what was really going on in my life politically, their unwavering kindness and compassion is to be commended. As the proud patron of this group, I will always be an advocate for suicide awareness, prevention and support. It is incumbent on all MPs promoting mental health, suicide prevention and awareness and support to start getting serious about the treatment of colleagues in this place. It's not good enough for MPs to take part in token gestures when they then turn the cheek and isolate, ostracise and engage in rumour mongering against colleagues. Speaker, former New South Wales Liberal opposition leader John Brogden tragically attempted suicide. He is now a staunch advocate for mental health and suicide prevention and support. I hope I'm wrong when I say this. I really hope I am wrong when I say this. But unless the toxic culture and mistreatment of colleagues in this place changes, I fear that one day someone will be pushed to the edge, and this is something I cannot stand for. If this place is serious about cleaning up the bullying, the harassment, the mistreatment of colleagues and sexual misconduct identified in the Broderick Review, the review must not be used as a political weapon of choice. Bullying in all its forms must not be tolerated and certainly not weaponised for political gain. Unity is the only pathway on this particular issue. As I conclude this speech, I would like to thank many people and organisations that have made my time as MP an enjoyable one. Firstly, to the local RSL sub-branches of Canley Heights, Cabra Vale Diggers, Fairfield and Smithfield, lest we forget. It is widely known that I am a sports tragic, and basically, Speaker, if it can be kicked, if it can be passed, if it can be thrown, I'll watch it. I'd like to thank the West Tigers for their hospitality and friendship over the years, to CEO Justin Pascoe, Chairman Lee Hadjibantelis, Dr Leslie Glenn, Tony Andriacchio and Rick Wade. Here's to leaving the doghouse and going to the penthouse in 2023. Tigers, Tiger. Speaker, I'm from the streets of Western Sydney, the home of the mighty RBB. We will follow you forever and we will be by your side. They are the words from the red and black bloc that support the Wanderers. To the Chairman of the Western Sydney Wanderers, Mr Paul Lederer, to CEO Scott Hudson and General Manager Mark Jensen, it has been an honour and a privilege to have been the inaugural co-chair of the Parliamentary Friends of the Wanderers with Dr Geoff Lee MP. I look forward to continuing our friendship post-New South Wales politics. Thanks must also go to Southern District Soccer Football Association, Fairfield Liverpool Cricket Association, Fairfield Relay for Life, the Australian Man Cave Support Group for bestowing upon me the honour of being their patron, and I must also thank the Chaldean League of Australia for bestowing upon me the ambassadorial role. I'd also like to thank from the bottom of my heart 3 very special people that have journeyed with me during my time here. Senior Electorate Officer Stella Patani, who recently received the New South Wales Parliament's 10-year Service Award, Jess Danielli and Katerina Sotropoulos. Working with them has been a professional highlight. There's always been laughter and a joke at my expense, but more importantly, an unwavering commitment to the constituents of the Fairfield electorate. Their empathy and compassion for the people of Fairfield has no bounds. I'm going to miss you all, especially the birthday celebrations and, of course, our famous Friday family lunches. I will certainly miss those. I'd also like to thank former staff members Matthew Craig and George Barcher for their work during their time at the Fairfield Electorate Office. I would also like to thank the Stanley family, and I'm referring to my great friend Anne and her husband Larry, for their support of me and their friendship over the years. Thank you to all colleagues, past and present over the years in this chamber. I hope that my interjections and sometimes not too funny jokes did not offend anyone.
Pretty funny.
But if they did, I do apologise. I also want to thank my neighbouring colleagues, Tanya Mihalik and Nick Lulich, for their friendship and support over the years. Tanya, you are a big loss to the community and the Labor Party. You are a person of conviction and integrity, someone who strives to give their best to the people they represent. Thank you for your friendship and advice, both warranted and sometimes unwarranted. I wish you and Alex and the family all the best for the future. To Nick Lulich.
Where is he?
There you go. Nick, you have been a family friend for over 30 years.
Nick.
And you are a Fairfield legend through and through. You have been a dear friend and mentor. Thank you, Nick. May you and Del have many wonderful travels ahead. But Nick, I must put on the record some of our funny travels together. Now, what some of you don't know is that I used to chauffeur drive Nick to Parliament. As the junior backbencher, I was Nick's driver. There were many occasions when we were driving into Parliament as we were leaving his place 2 blocks down the road, where I would have to say and remind Nick, Nick, put your seatbelt on. I don't want to be charged for elder abuse. And to that, he did listen. No MP can really do their job without the love and support of their family. Now, when I say family, I don't just mean Melissa and our 4 children. I mean the extended family, and it's a really big one. I've got many cousins, aunties and uncles here who are all waving. They know who they are. There are many of them. I love them and I'm very proud of them. And I thank them for standing up, handing out how to votes and putting on the red T-shirt for me. Thank you to my family. To my siblings, to Peter, to Katerina and Giuseppe, their partners Kelly and John and their children, I say a big thank you. And I trust that we'll be sailing on calmer waters with Mum and Dad soon. To Mum and Dad, thank you for what you have done for me and our family. To my mother-in-law Giovanna and my father-in-law Franco Pellegrino, thank you. You have been amazing supporters. Seriously, you're worth at least 5,000 votes. I could not have done it without you. And hence 2011, the result speaks for itself. To my big sister-in-law and big brother-in-law, John, to my brother-in-law, Anthony, and sister-in-law, Laura, and your children, thank you. You have been on this journey as well. You know what you have done. I cannot thank you enough. To our dearest of family friends, old son John Murphy and Auntie Adriana Murphy, words cannot thank you enough for being there for me and my family since I was 12 years of age. Thank you. To my old mate and radio partner Frank Chement and his wife Mina and their family, thank you for your support and friendship. I look forward to cracking open the decks, taking out the vinyl and the CDs and spinning some of 90s house music when I get out of this place. To the Macrams, the Bonos, the Fidelis, thank you. I know that there are a few bottles of red and whiskey that need to be opened very, very soon. And finally, to the hardest part of the valedictory address, to acknowledge my wife, Melissa, my daughter, Talia, my twins, Christian and Loredana, and the baby, Nicola. When I first arrived in this place, Nicola was just 11 months old. Unlike her siblings, she has never known me as anything but a Member of Parliament. To gain some perspective, she'll be graduating from Year 6 in a few weeks' time and commencing Year 7 in 2023. While I have always tried to be there for her and her siblings, they have had to share me with the people I represent. That has meant many missed events, family occasions. Well, I'm glad to say I'm coming back home, and I look forward to many days out on the water doing what our family loves doing best. To my wife, Melissa, I could not have done this job without you. Your loyalty and commitment is second to none. You have picked me up when the chips were down. You have encouraged me always. You are my rock and the lemons in the limoncello. Well, we are Italian. I look forward to travelling more and hopefully bagging a few big ones together off the back of the boat at Port Stephens, Lake Macquarie, Budgie Boy and Tuggerah. Any of those will do. Thank you very much, honey. I love you. As I leave this place, I cannot thank the people of the Fairfield electorate enough for giving me the greatest honour to be the representative for the past 3 terms. I am eternally grateful for this honour. But Speaker, I'd like to leave on these words. And this is a quote from 2 Timothy 4:7, open quote, and it goes like this. I have fought the good fight, I've finished the race, and I've kept the faith, end quote. Until next time, God bless you all.